Okay, today we're taking another shot at Macks Peak. We're at the corner of, or the intersection of Lee Canyon Road and Macks Canyon Road. And what you're looking at here is Mummy's Head. We'll see more of that as the day goes on. From a lot of different perspectives. Beautiful morning. It's the last week in June. So this is the route. We head up Macks Canyon Road for 4 miles and arrive at Macks Group Camp. At Macks Group Camp, there's a trail that leads toward Macks Peak. So we're gonna take that trail and then find an approach ridge that's going to take us up to the base of Macks Peak, and there we'll find a narrow limestone ramp. That's where I turned around a few years ago. Today we're going to see about pushing it a little further and hopefully getting to the summit of Macks Peak. And as I mentioned a few years ago, I stopped at the limestone ramp at the base of Macks Peak. Today we have a secret weapon that's going to help us get to the summit of Macks Peak. And here we have John and Gregg, and they're also going to proceed where the beast cannot go, up this unpaved Macks Canyon Road. So here I hop on with John and Gregg, and we continue the adventure. But here we are on Macks Canyon Road, and I was all excited about not having to go the whole 4 miles approach walking. But guess what? Here we are. The road is closed at the 2 mile point, so we got 2 miles of walking. It'll save us 4 miles round trip at least. But now you can see Macks Peak. Okay, and here's the route through this canyon. It winds around, and you see this ridge on the horizon. We head up the ridge, and then we reach the edge of Macks Peak. There is where we find that limestone ledge, very narrow ledge, loose rock, where we've turned around in the past. Well, today we're going to see if we can push on up that ledge. So here we go. Gregg, any great comments?
No comment today.
Okay. And how about you, John?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about this extra 4 miles of slog we have to do just to get to the get to the peak. But I think it'll be fine. It's pretty out here. It's a little warmer than I thought.
Definitely. Okay, well, let's go for it. Okay, here we are at Macks Canyon Upper Group Camp. So it's been about 2 miles. 2 miles walking on Macks Canyon Road. And yes, there were some real rough spots that turned the road actually into something that more resembled a wash than a road a little further down there. So you can see why it's closed. Anyway, now we go through this group camp. Awesome group camp. So we're going to go through the group camp and then find a small trail and continue onward. And there is Macks Peak. Macks Peak from the group camp. And by the way, if you're on Macks Canyon Road, this little pillar of a rock is a great marker for the upper group camp. very distinct. Okay, onward. Okay, now we're about a half mile, maybe a little more above the group camp. And this has still been Macks Canyon Road. You can see where it's a lot more broken up. And over in this direction is the area we want to eventually head. This is one ridge too soon. So you see the rocky area up above. That means that you're not yet at the ridge. And then here is the official long-term end of the road where it becomes a trail. And then we go further, but eventually we're going to hit a ridge on our right that's going to lead us up to the base of Macks Peak. Well, here I am again after a few years, back at that loose rock ramp and looking for John and Gregg. We split up a bit ago. I took the ridge from hell. Will not take that ridge again, but ended up here anyway. I don't know where they are. I hear them yelling now and then, but can't place their location just yet. So I'm going to sit here and wait at the base of this ramp. I should have taken some video and some pictures earlier just to give you an idea. That ridge, oh my gosh, it makes Mummy Mountain approach looks like a walk in the park. That ridge was straight up, but I found a trail at the top, believe it or not. Back in this direction, we're looking at the sheep range. And, you know, down through Lee Canyon. Okay, it turns out that last ramp only went about 75 yards and then ended. So that wasn't the right ramp anyway. The trail continued along this way. And now we're looking at a possibility here up this ramp. It certainly looks somewhat possible, but also a little frightening. Loose rock. Hang on for dear life. Okay, here's John. He is going up this ledge. He says that that loose rock section he just passed isn't too bad. Boy, I don't know. But it looks like you're climbing up above boulders.
Oh, that's where the loose stuff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
That was Gregg adding to the sound of background sound of the video. And so what's that going to be like turning around and coming down that thing?
Probably won't be that bad, especially if I put the webbing. Test it right now. Webbing be easy. Try not to knock down any. Now with the webbing in the front, but this is really the sketchiest part. What's that? Part on that. Oh. Where I have, you guys should be able to use the webbing. Okay. I'll stay here, and then I'll take the webbing up.
How does it look above you?
Oh, once you get up past this, oh, it's great. Class 2, eroded.
Oh, so it's about the same?
There's no exposure.
All right, here goes Greg.
Greg, you got this. You won't have a problem.
Okay, and now Greg's up to where John is. They used some webbing up there. Still a lot of loose rock on that ledge, narrow ledge. Now, if it weren't for the exposure, there wouldn't be any issue. I've gone up steeper areas, but it's just that loose rock right along that narrow ledge. A lot of rockfall going on up there. I'm gonna wait here, let them go to the summit and back, and then tell me about the experience. But I'll capture as much as I can. Yeah, this pretty much exceeds my comfort level. It looks like John and Gregg are handling it very well. One main thing to watch up there is rockfall. Easy to loosen rocks, and we've seen a lot of them fall so far. It does look very doable if it weren't for the exposure up there. And it looks like the thing is to take a right turn right where John disappeared and head up another gully. And if you look at the large bristlecone pine tree right in the center there, I think I saw them continue on. They didn't take that right turn and go up a gully, but they continued on. They passed on the right side of the bristlecone pine and then continued upward on this ramp. And they're testing to see what is going to actually lead them to the summit, but when they get back, they'll report. As I'm sitting here at this spot at the base of the ramp, I'm noticing a few reference points out there. In fact, right in the center, that ridge in the foreground is the South Sister, the North Sister, and Black Rock Sister from left to right. Let's take a look at each of them. South Sister, north sister. Remember that steep incline, the descent down the left or the north side of the north sister. And here's Black Rock sister. In the background, Mummy Mountain. That's on the horizon. You can see the head to the left, and you can't see the summit from this point, but what I'll do is I'll get a better view of the sisters once we descend from this spot. And over here, the north ridge of Kyle Canyon, Lee Canyon below. In fact, you can see part of the ski area. It's one of the ski runs. And then over in this direction, right through the trees. Let's see if I can hit this just right. Get a shot of Angel Peak. And there it is, right through the trees. So there you have it. Number of the reference points from this area, and I imagine the view on the summit. Sorry I couldn't provide that for you today, but I'm sure that the view on the summit is just incredible from this perspective. Okay, I hear John and Gregg returning. Boy, they were only gone about 20 minutes. We must have been very close to the summit. Now I feel bad. But anyway, they're up there. Right through the tree there. We'll get a better shot in a moment as they come into view. But they're definitely descending. We'll be on the ramp soon. Yeah, I see ya. Here we go. Here's one of them. So we'll catch them going down the ramp and then listen to their war stories at the summit and get some insight as to what route they took and how it worked out for them.
So it's kind of like, oh, I'm just next to love. Go like this?
Get a lot of glare on the camera, but I'll see if I can nail their position.
One way is not even. That's the way we came up. Okay, get behind the rock. Well, the way we came up is over there. If you like it better. All right, hold on. Let me get behind the rock.
There's John.
Hold on, I might go to the tree. Hold on. Because I might be safer there. It might be easier for me to get back on course. Up here is not very comfortable. Hold on a second.
And from what I can see, it looks like it's complicated yet doable. They're taking it section by section, helping each other down through this complicated stretch.
Maybe if you got some momentum going and stuff. Maybe if you got some momentum going and stuff. You got momentum? Okay. So I'm looking at two different options here. You can go that way or go around that way. I'm going to assume this other way is better. Not better.
Yeah, there's Gregg on the right side of the tree, John on the left side. Looks like John's going around to the left side of the tree. Or to the right side, actually. Yeah, there's Gregg coming down. Now they're trying to remember the exact way they went up so they can retrace their steps. Yeah, I just heard John say, it's not that bad. It's like riding a wave.
You're the right. Here? Now what does that look like in there? Like eroded shit. So you're not going in there after this? Yeah, I have to eventually. Oh, but I meant if I came down this. Go down whichever way you want, baby. Okay. Whatever way you feel more comfortable. I think. Yeah, either way is okay. Okay. I wouldn't mind. Actually, I might be in the rock zone. Hold on. I go to the right. All right, go to the edge and then come down. They should shoot you right down, even with me, and then you won't have to climb anything. Okay.
Okay, here comes Gregg. He's right behind that fallen tree.
I wonder if this is the high route. That's what I was thinking, yeah. Looks sketchy right there, though. Yeah. Should I try it? Screw that.
rocks just coming down like a fucking avalanche.
Yeah.
That-
That's why. You want me? I'm gonna get against this tree.
Fine.
Okay, here comes John. You can see major loose rock on this ledge. Greg just came down and said that it's more a psychological problem than it is an actual difficulty technically, but I don't know. You can see the exposure there below them, and then all the loose rock. Greg used webbing that he wrapped around the tree up there to help John up and down, and then to help himself down. Here, John used a webbing to help Greg up and down, then he helped himself down. He tied the webbing around that tree up there.
This part where John is not exposed really, because you have that rock protecting you on the one side.
And you can see as he's scooting down here, heading down face forward with that exposure and all the loose rock has got to be a little unnerving. Greg slid down that section just a little bit ago. The camera was overheated, so I couldn't take a video. Yeah, the key is to find whatever handhold you can, because you don't know that your feet are going to hold on that loose rock. A lot of exposure.
Did you butt slide this, Greg?
Yeah, just that section right there.
The good thing is the rock's not that loose right here.
No, you got handholds these both sides. Or braces.
And John and Greg were out and back, up to the summit and back in less than an hour, so we're very close to the summit. I'd say about, I don't know, 500 to 800 feet.
It's great views.
I bet they're great.
You could see Dogbone Lake. You could see maybe Area 51, Groom Lake. Maybe you could see look down on Cold Creek, the city, or the town, or whatever it is.
Once you get to that blue sky area, it's very easy.
So this is the most difficult section that we're looking at right here.
Yeah, and it looks more difficult than it is. It looks steeper than it probably is, but it's still steep.
And this is the crux, but I think above it's like more irritating because it's like it's just not as exposed. I mean, the exposure here is not that bad though. Because all this is slanting in, so it doesn't feel like you're not going to just like...
You never feel like you're going to slide out of control going down.
Like that.
Going up you did. Well, you weren't really out of control.
Well, I imagine if your feet lose their hold and slide just a little bit, that your mind really races.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not like
You
that.
got to kind of like keep that from happening.
Yeah.
Keep your mind from racing. I mean, you're going to slip.
Well,
Enjoy the slip.
tell us what it was like. What did you
How's
just
work?
describe the route there?
That was a lot of work is what that was. Loose, eroded, steep as can be. I mean, it's got to be a 45-degree angle, doesn't it, or more? What? 60? I don't know, 50? It looks, I don't know what it is, but you get up there and then you get around, finally get up to the corner. It's some more of the same. And then it's kind of like a bunch of limestone pinnacles that you weave through to get to the top, which is cool. And there were some great views up there. And the webbing.
And there's a path through all those pinnacles. So.
There was. We deciphered it. So.
Okay, and it was, what class would you call that?
2+.
2+, okay.
With a little 3 maybe. I don't know.
I'd say it's, you could say 2+, but once you get it past this section that looks scary, then it gets, it's tough.
But it's 2+, but it's scarier than a lot of 3+ stuff that I've done, or 4 that I've done. You know what I mean? It's just because it's just you're using your hands to balance. You're not like climbing. You know what I mean? Like for class 3, usually is like you're actually pulling your body up with your while climbing. Whereas this, you're just balancing and you kind of helping yourself up. But yeah, 2+, I would give it.
Handholds?
2+. Yeah, there are some. You just got to go section by section.
I'm giving it a solid 3.
I don't know. I mean,
it's going up.
Well,
possibly 3+, but
no, I think some of the scariest stuff I've ever been on is class 1 or class 2, because there's no holds and it's insecure. I mean, that's go across the graffiti ledges and tell me it's class 1, but it's scary as could be.
How would you compare this to Mummy Mountain?
No, Mummy is just effort. This is more, you better pull it together in your head because it's insecure.
Yeah.
You know. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. So
would you do it again and feel better?
Oh yeah. You just gotta go section by section. That's all you gotta do.
I agree. Now knowing that coming down is not as bad as I thought it'd be, it's a lot easier. Then you feel
coming
a lot
down was
better
easier.
going up.
I thought, yeah,
You'll
exactly.
feel a lot better going up.
I thought coming down was easier.
Yeah.
Well, you knew what to expect.
Yeah, I thought coming down was gonna be
that and it's easier to kind of like just let yourself go and slide a little bit. You're not having to effort your way up. You know what I mean? And you can just kind of go from hold to hold. You know, you just find these weird holds that like every time you think you're gonna run out of something, all of a sudden there's a hold you can grab. So it's fun. I mean, it's really steep and loose and sketchy, but it's a good time for sure. It might be nice to have a rope just to tie around one of those. Send someone up by themselves and let them tie a rope and send it down, and people get up no problem. I think with a rope it'd be much easier.
Yeah, it looks like a type of place that you could use a rope or even a railing.
You don't need like a harness or rigging or anything. You just a rope.
Yeah.
And, so you keep your balance and you don't have to worry about sliding away.
Security.
Yeah.
Well done, guys.
I loved it.
Awesome. And it was probably about a half hour to the top.
I wasn't even feeling like doing it today. I was just like, man, I don't want to do this. I don't want to like concentrate. But once it started going, I just kept going step by step. You saw when I started, I was like, oh, I'll get a little higher. Then it felt good, and I was like, all right, let's go. I knew Greg would be on my tail.
Going up, I thought, oh, this isn't too bad, and then we got about halfway up, and this sort of doesn't end.
Yeah, it's a good one, yeah.
Oh, so it's beyond what we can see right here. It's as difficult as this.
Yeah, it's just super steep and loose.
It just keeps being that way.
It's not as exposed as this. It doesn't have that same feeling of exposure, which is, I mean, I don't know. I don't even think that part felt that exposed.
I guess pretty much you can see by the angle of the rock layers that this is one of the rock layers, and it's going to continue that angle all the way.
The whole way to the top, and then it's a little better going up to the peak.
Okay.
But it wasn't scary. Just
it reminds me a lot about coming down from Mummy's Toe or Mummy's that section, or from the section coming down that section between Mummy Springs and Mummy's Toe. It gets real
like
steep.
Mummy's Toe with a cliff.
It's just steep.
Awesome.
It's very steep. Yeah. I mean, it's got to be what, a 45-degree angle? I don't know.
I bet it is, because it's a little deceptive because we're on it, and you can't see the steepness of this angle while you're on it. But yeah, it's a lot steeper than it looks. Okay, well done, guys.
All right.
Okay, descending by a different route. Here is the eastern tip of Macks Peak, and we're going down this scree hill And you can see there's Greg down there navigating the scree. And I believe on the way up, the part that I didn't video because it was just so steep was over in this direction um, behind the bristlecone. And as long as we're looking at a much better view, I'm gonna, well, let's see. Here is South Sister on the right, North Sister on the left, and further on, Black Rock Sister, and I'll make a quick traverse of that slope. Up North Sister, there's the saddle between North and South Sister. North Sister on the left, South Sister on the right. There's the North Sister. Okay, there's summit of North Sister. Down the saddle. Yeah, this is a better view of that saddle. Up to the South Sister and then down. And on the opposite side of that ridge that you see in the foreground is the trail that heads down to the old mill picnic area. And so you can see that adventure on LasVegasAreaTrails.com on the South Sister to North Sister loop. There's John and Gregg. And we are now heading down to this nice ridge, and we'll traverse along this ridge as long as it lets us before there's a drop off. As long as we're looking at the scenery. There's Charleston Peak, Lee Peak, and then now let's get a close up of Charleston. There we go. Summit of Charleston. Down to Lee. Across, you see the ridge that leads, the ridge on the horizon leads to Mummy Mountain. Mummy Mountain, and there's the summit of Mummy. And here's McFarland Peak. There's North McFarland. Then over to McFarland. And then that ridge line that you see on the horizon there is the ridge upon which the Bonanza Trail rests. And then back to Charleston Peak and Lee Peak and South Sister and North Sister and the traverse saddle between. What we're doing is we're heading down this ridge line, beautiful ridge line. It's the way I came up the first time, and so this is what I would suggest you use to get up to Macks Peak. So we're going to head down to this area, and then you notice where it splits off, and there's a downhill ridge. You can sort of see it. The main ridge continues ahead, but then you've got the little downhill ridge that takes you back to Macks Canyon Road and Trail. And that's what we're going to do. And this is actually, like I said, this is the best route that gets you up to Macks Peak, which is right up here. And just beautiful on this ridge. You can see some desert paintbrush. Just incredible. And now passing through a beautiful little meadow. This is the last week in June, and a little later, I believe, in the season, like you get into August, early August, all kinds of wildflowers will appear on this ridge. It is just incredible. And it's nice to have something that's fairly level after some of that steep stuff that we were on earlier. And you can see some more of the desert paintbrush. It is just amazing.
Right, it's still not as pretty.
Okay, there's Macks Peak, and we've just come down this ridge, and now there's a split off ridge. This ridge continues down in this direction, but there's a split off ridge, we believe, right here that's going to lead down to Macks Canyon Road. Either that or it's that next ridge over there. We're not sure. That's interesting. Not sure which way leads down more gradually. But I didn't take any video on the way up because I was on such a steep slope. It was just crazy. And here's that slope. Leading up to this point. And there it led up to that high point, circled around, and pretty much a nice trail that led up to the eastern side of Macks Peak. But I gotta say, this ridge is so much nicer. And continuing down, look at this area. How beautiful. Formations, the limestone, and there's that ridge that I ascended. Boy, that was steep. And here's Macks Peak. We came down the ridge part way and then took a left up above, came down this tributary ridge, and now heading down through the rock formations. And there you've got the South Sister on the right, North Sister in the middle, Black Rock Sister on the left, and Charleston Peak, just to get an idea of where we are here. And hopefully this is going to be fairly gradual all the way down, but we don't know.
Yeah.
And that ridge continued downward until we hit a trail. Very faint trail, but still, if you look closely, it is a trail, which is promising to lead us back to Macks Canyon Road. We will find out. And here we are back on Macks Canyon Road at the car. And actually that area, or that stretch after the closure, the road closure, wasn't that long. It seemed like maybe a mile and a half, who knows. Anyway, yeah, John and Gregg. John, do you have any final comments on this day?
Oh, it was real enjoyable. Such a pretty area out there and desolate, which I like a lot. And it's nice to get that peak tagged. Don't have too many more to do out here. I'm sure we can find some though.
Yeah, no, great area. It was a great day, Dave. Thanks for all the videos.
Yeah, and thank you for guiding me along, and maybe next time I'll make it to the summit with you.
Oh, you will, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.